Mind's Eye Visual Guitar. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm somewhere down here. Hey, everybody. We got the camera on the guitar, and we are ready to go for a lesson here, which is going to be a little bit of a break from or a departure from our getting through the major blues series. I've got a whole nother area of the fretboard to cover, so there's definitely another lesson coming. For that, if you're just tuning into this lesson out of the blue, search the channel for that lesson previously, catch up with that, and then stay tuned for the next lesson. That being said, what we have here today is a little lesson, hopefully something I could throw together quick, but I think very important to really visualize and get in, at least for me, to get into my mind's eye the anomaly in shapes, interval shapes, that occur across the G and the B string versus any other string set on the guitar, between E and A and D and D and G and B and E. The interval patterns are all the same, but one string pair between the G and the B changes everything. And it's one thing to say, okay, everything has got to slide up that way. Number one, I definitely have known that from time to time, but I've often found myself in the heat of trying to think of a chord shape fast, trying to derive something, and I've asked myself is it one up or one down? I can't remember. So it's not something that always easily stuck with me. And when I went to visualize all the shapes, I could sort of see why. So we're going to actually, I made the sheets in a row here, but we're going to actually work backwards to show you something. So that being said, a little bit about our diagram here. We have the standard interval set is, first of all, what we are going to consider. We have the root, which could be any note that you choose on a string, and then we have the choice of intervals, and I'm only going to use basically the most handy basic, no real stretches. We'll consider that 2 frets away, not exactly necessary, because you can grab those intervals next to the root in most cases. So that being said, we will have available from in a standard concept here, the root to a minor third for a minor chord, root to a major third, what you would want to know about in major tonalities against major chords. Or if you want to throw a trick, flat third, where that works, as we've been discussing in our blues programming, or whatever, blues lessons, you can know where that is. But in any event, root 4, flat 5, and 5. We'll just call it flat 5 for now. We're going to get to something about that. And same here, but you can see that already, if we consider the same area of the fretboard, you can see that the intervals are different. And you'll see why these colors are the way they are in a second. So we would get a root, a 2, which is kind of redundant because we can just grab a 2 right up next to the roots. And so flat third, fourth, and flat fifth, and then we can grab a 5, the regular 5 that we can get with our standard reach. We can grab that by using the E string, the high E string. Okay, so that being said, let's get these shapes in our mind's eye. But we're going to need a fretboard to do that, and boy, it's going to take some time to maybe the mind's eye powers that be can just deliver us a fretboard. So mind's eye powers that be, power team activate toward a, can we get, oh, look, there it is. Works every time. Oh no, geez, that's magic. All right, so here on this diagram, here on Gilligan's Island, actually, we have basically the same colors are going to be the same interval the standard pattern. So between B and E, same standard pattern, and for all these strings. But we can see here, I've got the brackets here showing you, okay, across the G and B are where we are focused today. And for me, it's very helpful to remember these arrows that I printed here. So I just always know when I need an interval and I'm confused about, wait, up, down, left, right, what do I got to do here to make this, I need a flat third, then I'm just going to think of your standard interval and move your top interval. I'm going to call this the top, even though it's towards the floor. I'm going to move it that way, towards the bridge of the guitar, towards the body of the guitar. And that helps me quickly grab every interval on top of, this teaching kind of overlies the, you'll probably think, well, I know this because I know caged, and that's awesome because, that's how this works too. And it's great to have all these concepts like doubled up with each other. So like, yeah, okay, I know that because that plugs right into caged. And that also plugs into, I see this one shape when I'm somewhere in the minor pentatonic, or this scale shape has that, or whatever you use to make these associations totally works. So we can see the grayed out notes here kind of help us navigate, kind of visualize where we are in this master scheme of things, or in this little group of area of focus that we are, the notes that we're focusing on today, the choices that we are focusing on today, the potential choices that we're focusing on are great. All right, so when I think about a flat third, I'm thinking about this. So I can make a chord that has a flat third in it like this. If I want to, Okay, so, but I gotta be mindful that if I want to do that same chord on the G and B, I better be like... Anyways, between the G and the B. Now here is why you just say, yeah, Mark, that's easy. You just know you move it up one, you're done, and that hopefully will stick with you. But here's what I was doing. In my mind is hard programmed this major third interval from standard string areas, string groups. We'll call those string groups A and E, A to D, D and G. Perfect fourth and fifth relationship. This is a third and a sharp fifth, or whatever. Nothing you need to know. Sorry. But I know that as this interval, when I think major third, I'm just going, yeah, the top of my G chord, the top of my C chord. It's got that. And so, bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. All right. I'm not thinking quickly the same interval, because that now looks like a fourth. We can see we wrote that up here, but you say, what perfect fourth? What are you talking about? So let's work backwards here. So my concept, like here's, for example, the at this edge of our example, we've got the one of the most common intervals, maybe boring, maybe obvious, same old thing, is the root 5. Let's actually skip past that, because for root 5 on our G and B string, we've gone off that chart, so I'm aware that it's there, but I'm going to grab the 5 here because that sets the thirds that would create basically a triad. Or tertiary harmony, if I wanted to sound all music theory on you guys and over talk a lot of the beginners. But I won't do that. So our 3-note triad, root, third, fifth, you're going to get your thirds right where you want them in between the 5. So you're going to choose the 5 there. Let me show you this. So going over here, root to flat 5. So I know that like this. Unsightly interval, or unsoundly, would that be a word? No, I don't think so. So, very important though when you start getting advanced, you start, getting around music theory, and you're hearing a lot about the 5 chord and the tritone and all this stuff that has to do with that. You want to know that, always be able to think of it quickly because you know the shape that'll produce that interval. So your flat 5 is always right there as long as you have a root conceptualized. It's that. Okay, but between the G and B, as you can see here, it looks like our perfect fifth that we just talked about. You'd have to remember, oh yeah, if I play a power chord shape down here, it sounds like ass because, excuse my language, probably just ruined the video, because it's that tritone interval. And there's that, trying to limit there's some distortion on there. Something's cranked up, I think, a little too hot there. But anyways, would be a perfect fifth. So there's my tritone, same as this. All right. So you can see why there's confusion, because all your interval shapes are a clone of a different interval shape that you already have hard programmed into your mind. So, like I've just learned my intervals, from the regular standard areas. There's a root and 4. So if I'm playing the blues and the next chord's a 4 chord, it's going to be, it's always a 4. So, but if I'm, considering G and B, I better think about here. And now I know, why does that shape sound good down there? It used to be just a shape anomaly to me that, okay, that sounds like that, this sounds like this. Not even realize that that is the same function between those two intervals, which is important in conceptualizing certain things about your playing and what you're trying to do and sounds you're trying to make and on and on. So as you can see here, back to where we were earlier, the major interval here, then you can see how it looks like the perfect fourth we played a second ago. And so that's some of the reason why I did. So I guess in this lesson I didn't want to just show the actual diagrams, visualizations of the interval patterns, because you probably knew that, but you probably didn't realize why these can be, sometimes they don't stick in your memory. Because it's using ideas you've already hardwired for other ideas. And when you're newer, the more, I guess I'm trying to think, like the more I'm, new at playing something, the more my mind is like, can't think, and then when you're really inside of the music and you start to, really you got a hold of things, then you're like, oh yeah, this is that, not hard to think of. So I guess it depends on where you are in your playing, how well you may have already understood these things. I guess that's all I'm going to say to get the lesson nice and down to an easy to digest time frame without a whole lot of jargon, which took me about 8 recordings to whittle this down to what I've got here. So check out the merch store. It's down below. Leave a comment because discussions are really helpful in, forging our way through new topics and stuff. So definitely interact, leave a comment, the like and subscribe thing, obviously, but the merch store is really important. Every little bit that of merchandise people will buy is going directly to help this channel survive the incurred costs that I have to try to run it, and the time that I have to kind of dedicate to making it happen. And there's also the buy me a coffee thing, because coffee's awesome, and we'll be enjoying a coffee together, jamming. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. So think about all that, and check me on the next lesson. Remind me about making that second part. Tell me that you want to be able to get through that blues on another part of the fretboard. All right, see ya.